Here we go again. Mark and Mike telling you what they think, even when they're not really thinking. Welcome to It Doesn't Take a Genius.
Hey, Mark. How are you doing? How are you doing today?
Hold on. How are you doing today? Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing great. So what have you been working on today?
Hold on. What have you been working on today? On my computer.
These are wonderfully pithy answers. Do you have anyone helping you with these answers?
Do you have any? Hold on one second. Do you have anyone helping you with these answers? Yeah, there is a person next to me.
Well, now you're just creeping me out.
Well, me too, really.
So what? This seems to be a little stilted here. What are you doing?
I apologize. I just keep hearing about how artificial intelligence and machines are kind of taking over, our economy and so on and so forth. So I found this website, jabberwacky.com. It's like an artificial intelligence chat bot, and I thought I'd see if it could replace me today. Obviously, it can. I mean, frankly, that was not too bad, but
it was doing pretty well. Yeah. Let's not be too hasty to dismiss the technology. All right. So that's interesting. At some point, they're already talking about this in movies where they don't need actors. They'll just have CGI editions of the actors to do all the stuff, and we'll never know. Right? We'll just watch it and we'll never know. And then, the more practical, down to earth, I'm starting to see the advent of the kiosk in lieu of the human. And we kind of took a half step there with the self-checkout. And so all of a sudden it's like, look, I work at the Walmart. I didn't even go through orientation or training, but now I'm skilled to be a cashier. And now the next evolution of that is places like McDonald's, some of the businesses we work with, the automotive dealership franchises, are putting in kiosks for service. Yeah. And so I can go into McDonald's and I don't talk to a human. I just push the button and my order happens and they bring it to me.
And now a crass person is going to say, and they work a lot more cheaply. They don't require health insurance and so on and so forth. But realistically,
well, what have we seen? We've seen at McDonald's the average per ticket per kiosk goes up.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the percentages, but it was quite a substantial increase.
Right.
And my theory on that is, so if you're in McDonald's and you're by yourself and you have to say out loud, I'd like 2 Big Macs and 2 hot apple pies. Can you biggie size that? Right. And then you have to look around for judgment. Right. There's going to be judging. And the judging may come from the person who's taking the order. But if I'm at a kiosk, like Big Mac, boop, boop, hot apple pie, boop, boop, biggie size. I can do that. And then they hand it to me in the discreet, bag that no one can see the contents of.
Right.
And we're seeing the same things with our service departments in these dealerships.
Yep.
Where the average ticket is higher.
Yeah.
And I think there's some things the machine does better than a human.
It's going to be consistent, right? It's always going to ask the same questions. It's going to offer the same services every time. Whereas maybe I'm a human being who's busy, or I've got, 3 customers behind you and I skip some of those steps and miss out on a chance to make a sale.
Oh yeah.
He's not going to do that.
No. It's never rushed. It's never flummoxed. And when you think about it, asking the same question every time, That's all we've ever been asking our service advisors to do.
Mm.
Is just make sure you slow down, you ask good questions, you ask,
Right.
these different things. And so, but the machine, right, every time it presents me with the small things, right? Windshield wipers.
Yeah.
Just oh yeah, they have been streaking. I'll just click the button, but
Yeah.
if my service advisor doesn't ask about light bulbs, windshield wipers, things like that, that business comes in the door, and then that money just leaves and goes right out the door.
Right. Still in the wallet.
Yeah, and it does, and it ends up being spent, but not with the business that had the first opportunity at it.
Right.
And so one of the questions that I always ask when I'm working with folks, with frontline folks now, is how is working with you better than going online?
Mm-hmm.
And you should see their faces, right? So how is working with you better than going online? And people will say, well, I have tremendous product knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, you have more product knowledge than a computer?
Right. Right.
Sorry, Jack. Nope, you don't. I can go online and I can see it down. It'll tell me down to the detail, and I can get verified from a couple different sources.
Yeah.
I don't have to rely on your memory. So product knowledge is not what makes you better than online. And then they'll say, it's my personality. They get me.
I'm charming.
Yeah, I'm charming. I'm delightful. Nobody cares. They care to the extent of, it makes it enjoyable to be with you, but will it cause me to spend more money?
Yeah.
It may not. I don't think it's the deciding factor.
Or to say it another way, will it solve my problem? I came in needing a transportation need met on the service side or the sales side. I came to your business for whatever product or service you offer. Did you help me do that? Or were you just a great stand-up comedian?
Right. So I had a good time, but I'm not sure I got my problem solved.
Yeah. Not coming back.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the things that we talk about is really the only advantage to dealing with a human being is the human being's ability to solve complex problems.
Yeah.
And so you do have to have product knowledge. You do have to know your product. But more importantly, you have to be able to ask wonderful questions of the person standing in front of you to gather as much data as possible. You gather as much information as possible about the problem that they're trying to solve. Yep. And when we say problem, we always think of something terrible. The problem could be, I just need a different vehicle.
Yeah.
Right. I just need to get a part, right? Whatever it might be.
Right.
That's the problem. But if there's multiple considerations that go into that. And so by figuring out how many people are they going to have it, how many miles you're going to drive, who's the primary driver, what did you like best about your last vehicle, what do you like least about the one that you're giving up?
Yes.
You take all that stuff in and you put it into your computer, and then with your product knowledge, you land on a couple of options for the customer and go, based on everything you've told me, here's a couple of different ways I think you could go.
Yeah.
And it would take care of this and make you incredibly happy.
So can I give an example of how that's played out even online? You said, how's working with you better than going online? I had that experience on Amazon. It was several times I've used the chat bot on Amazon to, get some sort of basic, return processed or something like that. Nothing that's all that difficult. The machine can do it just fine. And I didn't have to wait for the next available agent and so on and so forth. Well, this is embarrassing, but I recently had a package delivered. I got the email. It showed me a picture of this package being delivered. And I said, well, that's not my house. So I immediately responded to the email and said, no, delivery person dropped it off at the wrong house. And then I thought about it and realized that I had ordered on somebody's bridal registry and had it sent to their house. So it actually was at the right house. So now I'm feeling guilty, right? Like I just despair. Who knows how Amazon's rules work? Did I just disparage this delivery agent to the point that, he gets in trouble for it? So I wait patiently to talk to a live agent, and it was great. It was clearly somebody from India based on the name. And they were very, they listened to the whole story. took a while to explain, what are you doing? I was like, I just want to make sure this guy doesn't get in trouble. And they said, that's the issue. Got it. We have just marked his file so that your previous survey was
just
wiped.
let him go.
He's already been executed.
Yeah, we're going to go try and bring him back to life.
But it was really about them listening to the whole problem and then saying, okay, we know exactly how to handle that. There's a record that we can wipe and we'll take care of that. And they made sure to assure me that happened. So a machine couldn't have done that, right? That was a lot of data to take in and turn into a happy solution for this customer.
Well, I think that's where the machine can do the basic stuff. If it's not out of the ordinary, if it's the basic stuff, it works fantastic. And so I picture, kind of like the airlines. And so with the airlines, there used to be a whole row of gate agents. There used to be a whole row of reception people, and every single person got waited on. And I had the opportunity to fly when I went to the mountains. And it was amazing because it was not an airline that I fly often, so I didn't have the app. And so I actually got in line because I wanted a person. And they said, no, you can't have a person. You first have to get your boarding pass. Do you have your boarding pass? No, get your boarding pass. And I got my boarding pass and I had a checked bag. And not because I wanted to, but because they forced you to. And they said, I said, well, now I need to get in there. They said, no, you go to another kiosk. There's another row of kiosks. And on those kiosks, you get the checked bag tag that goes through the thing and seals it up, and it has your destination on it. There was one person working for this entire airline, and their job was you walked up and you had your bag, your check bag tag, you set it on the thing, it weighed your bag. If it was the right weight under the limit, because it's over limit, they're going to charge you how much more money.
Right.
So, and then they said, thank you, and threw your bag on the conveyor belt. That was it. I mean, the whole airline was being, the face of it was one person. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Unless something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And now, I always think of when I fly Delta a lot. Now I love that airline. And one of the things that I've found is that they do have Delta red coats.
Yeah.
And a Delta red coat is this incredibly empowered, smart, experienced employee that when the machines can no longer help you, they can solve the problem.
Yeah.
And they don't have to go talk to a manager. They don't have to ask permission.
Yeah.
And they're clearly marked. They're wearing either a red vest or a red coat. Mm-hmm. And so you can look around the airport. If you can find one, you get their attention, good things will happen.
Yeah.
And so I think, because one of my business owners was talking about, he said he was going to have a row of kiosks, and then he was going to have some people who he wasn't, that weren't that experienced and weren't that well paid, to be quite honest with you. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, you need just the opposite. That small group of people that you do keep, they've got to be amazing, because the moment I approach them, it's because the machines have let me down and I'm now slightly frustrated and I need help with a complex problem.
Yep.
I don't need somebody else who has the authority of a kiosk that can't help me. That will just compound the frustration. So, he thought about that for a minute and he's like, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, there will be fewer people, but those people have to be amazing.
Yeah, really good people. And it's your one chance possibly to make a human connection with your business with this person. So they ought to be good. I think, this is sort of a short episode because the nugget here is just so nice and compact. If you want to be one of those well-paid people, if you want to be somebody who attracts enough customers because dealing with you is better than going online, we've really laid this out. It's knowledgeability. Yeah, it's people skills. Yeah, but really what it is the ability to listen so that you understand their problem and then solve the problem. It's probably going to be complex and it's going to require you to hook up all those different streams of data that you have, but the ability for you to listen and to solve that problem is really key. Anything else you'd add to that list?
Well, no, I think you hit it right. I've got to take in all the data. One of my guys that works in the automotive retail, an older gentleman, he told me, he said there are 100 ways to sell every single car in this lot. He says the job of the salesperson is to figure out of those 100 ways, which way is best for that customer.
Yeah, that's great.
And so, yeah, so, even the old guys know that this is complex and it requires serious engagement from the people that you're dealing with. So know your product, ask great questions, figure out how to solve the problem. People will love you.
Yeah. And I think you've pointed out something that I'm always trying to think about the employers who are listening to this. If you don't empower your people and have them trained up to that level, you're really missing an opportunity, because those are the people that can make or break your business. They're the front lines of earning that customer's loyalty when something does happen to go wrong, in even a small way. So empower your people. Make that happen.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. Yeah, the people you have, they're going to have to be more highly trained, be more capable in more areas, and just be absolutely amazing, and know that the people are coming to them because they couldn't do what they needed to do through the machine.
So good. So good. All right. Well, it's time for the announcer to disparage us again as we say our goodbyes. And Mike,
he's a machine. He's our version of the Terminator.
And that's a wrap. The musings of Mark and Mike. No rights reserved, etc. Feel free to share and discuss what you heard today. Even claim the ideas as your own. Who'd want to do that? See you next time on It Doesn't Take a Genius. Thanks.
That's good enough.